I'm getting increasingly concerned that we are barreling towards Trump riots, the sequel, sometime in August. And the reason I say this is that seemingly every day we realize that although there probably is some grift component to what is going on right now with Donald Trump, it appears that he really thinks he may be able to get back in power in August. And we learned today that it is not just Trump who thinks he might be getting, quote, reinstated. By the way, what does that even mean? We elect presidents and then they're sworn in. What does it even mean to be reinstated? It's ridiculous. You're no longer the president. Two former Republican senators apparently believe the same thing. This appears to really be a real thing. And the scary part is not that it might happen. The scary part is that when it doesn't, the QAnon people are going to go absolutely nuts and do more violence once again. So let me kind of paint the picture for you. We first heard from the New York Times' Maggie Haberman that Donald Trump is privately telling people, we got to watch what's going on with these audits or audits, as some people say, in Arizona and other places. And Trump is starting to privately tell people, I think I might be back in office in August. Why August? We don't know. It was going to be March and then April and then, okay, right? So, but that's the original report. It's denied by people like Lara Trump and others. But then today we get this tweet from Maggie Haberman. This is an article from the right-wing National Review, which says Maggie Haberman is right. Listen, it's Maggie Haberman understated the insanity of what's going on. Donald Trump really does believe that he, along with two former Republican senators, will be reinstated to office this summer. This is the right-wing National Review. Okay, whoa. I have an ad blocker on and I'm just getting crushed, guys. What is happening here? 2 days ago, let's look at this. 2 days ago, the New York Times' Maggie Haberman reported that Donald Trump has been telling a number of people he's in contact with that he expects he will be reinstated by August. In response, many figures on the right reinserted their fingers into their ears and started screaming about fake news. Instead, they should have listened because Haberman's reporting was correct. I can attest, this is Charles Cook writing it. I can attest, well, where did it go? From speaking to an array of different sources, that Donald Trump does indeed believe genuinely that he, along with former Senators David Perdue and Martha McSally, will be, quote, reinstated. Now, the quotes around reinstated must be used because there is no such process in the United States of America. Understand, reinstated, your term is over. You didn't win. That's it. After the office this summer, after audits of the 2020 election in Arizona, Georgia, and a handful of other states have been completed. I can attest, too, that Trump is trying hard to recruit journalists, politicians, and other influential figures to promulgate this belief, not as a fundraising tool or as an infantile bit of trolling or a trial balloon, but as a fact. Understand this. For all this time, we were wondering. People would come to me and they would say, sir, do you think Trump believes any of this stuff? Or do you believe that it's just a grift to raise money? And I would say, I don't know. It sort of seems like a grift. Maybe early Trump thought maybe there would be something here, but I think it's mostly a grift to raise money. I was wrong. And I am here right now, people, to tell you I was wrong about two things. And I'm coming to you to plead for forgiveness. Number one, I thought it was mostly a grift. And we are even hearing from the right now, it's not a grift. Trump really thinks he might become president again sometime during the next period of time between now and January of 2025. I was wrong. I thought it was really 99% a grift. Number two, I was wrong that QAnon would fade and never achieve a significant following. I was wrong, people. I'm demanding apologies on Twitch. I'm demanding apologies on YouTube, everywhere. Apologies. Okay. So the context here is Trump really thinks he might be reinstated in August. Apparently, Martha McSally and David Perdue think they might be reinstated in August. It's not just a grift. And here's the key. 20% of Americans now believe at least one QAnon conspiracy theory. And in fact, if we're going to be thorough, and I kind of want to be thorough with you guys today, Let me actually find the article. Wait a second. Where is it? 20% of Americans. Here we go. Look at this. So this is about there's enough people in the country that believe this stuff, which is where the violence could come from. Oh, no. Now I have to allow ads. Can you imagine? The ad blocker worked. Now I've got to turn it off. Okay, look at this. Look at how much of a page there is. Look at this little block of web page. Oh, now I've got more. These ads, I mean, it is toxicity. Toxicity. By the way, let me tell you about Blue Chew, Blue Blocks, as well as Teddy Stratford shirts, sheath underwear. These ads, though, are insane, okay? 15% of Americans agree with the QAnon statement that the U.S. government, media, and financial worlds are controlled by a group of Satan-worshipping pedophiles who run a global child sex trafficking operation. 20% of Americans agree with the statement, there is a storm coming soon that will sweep away the elites in power and restore the rightful leaders. 15% of Americans agree that because things have gotten so far off track, true American patriots may have to resort to violence in order to save our country. Okay? 1 out of 5 people in this country believes the QAnon stuff. And simultaneously, we are now learning that Donald Trump believes that he may be reinstated. So all of this, with Trump's restarted rallies starting within the next 10 to 14 days, reportedly, I don't think it bodes particularly well for the remainder of this year. Where do we even go from here? Let's read a little bit more of this. It will be, this is a good, remember, this is a right-wing article. This is from the National Review. It will be tempting for weary conservatives to dismiss this information as old news or as an irrelevance. It will be tempting, too, to downplay the enormity of what is being claimed, or to change the subject, or to attack the messengers that they must, by implying they must hate Trump and his voters. But such temptations should be assiduously avoided. We are not talking here about a fringe figure within the Republican tent, but about a man who hopes to make support for his outlandish claims a litmus test of sorts as he decides whom to endorse for state and federal contests in 22 and 24. If you're wondering, so now we're tying it into the January 6th commission. If you were wondering why whatever number of Republicans it was voted against the commission, it's not just because the commission would incriminate them. Many of them have guilty minds, and they should. A bunch of these Republicans voted against the commission because they rightly have assessed that Donald Trump is watching who is in favor of the commission and who is against it. And Trump plans to have his naughty and nice list, his rhino and real Republican list, going into 2022. And they don't want to be on Trump's bad side. So all of these stories that we've been covering for the last several months, the audits, the delusions, the restarting of the rallies, Trump's desperation to reconnect with his voters, continued belief from Republicans not only in QAnon conspiracies, but that Donald Trump is really the president. All of this stuff together is now pointing to an electorate that we know they're willing to turn to violence because it happened on January 6th. And in sum total, this is all pretty wild. People asking, is there a date for the August thing? I have no idea. No, there's no particular date yet. Another article, by the way, this is an important one also, the Washington Post. A surreal, submerged, conspiratorial, Trump-centered political universe still thrives, as if we didn't know this. This is by Philip Bump. For more than 5 years, the rallies never stopped. It was a rally in Phoenix in July 2015 that elevated Trump's presidential campaign into real contention. Trump's rallies over the next 16 months became cultural events, manifestations of the undercurrent of support that ended up tipping the scales that November. Even after Trump won, the rallies continued. Less than a month after the election was called, Trump was back speaking before adoring audiences. This goes on to say, hold on, let me see, where did I want to skip to? The rallies are loosely aimed at the same, this is now about the America First rallies that are the Gates Green rallies. The rallies are loosely aimed at the same falsehood that Trump has worked to promote since his ouster, that he didn't lose last year. At a large retirement community in Florida early last month, that's funny, Gates and Green encouraged the audience to recognize Trump as the legitimate president, which he isn't. Another stop on their slapdash tour landed them in Arizona, to promote the bizarre and tainted election review effort being conducted on behalf of some Republicans in the state. It's not just that they're leveraging Trump's style, they're leveraging the new energy of the Trump movement, energy centered on wild and obviously untrue claims about the election. This is clearly coming, and I am not here to pretend to know exactly what form it's going to take, because you know what? I never thought QAnon would get the level of prominence that it got, and I thought the entire Trump thing was a grift. At this point, it really seems that it's not merely a grift, and that there is a large share. Remember, 74 point something million people voted for Trump. You only need a few thousand of that 74 million to go completely bonkers, to wreak absolute havoc on the United States. So that's my concern. I am not going to underplay the risk. Now, I hope that it doesn't happen, but I underplayed the risk before, and that didn't work out so well. All right. So that's the big picture of what's going on.